Hey guys, shaving remote here tonight. 1438, cute little brush from Semogue. It has a smallish handle. It's not super ergonomic, but it works. I definitely like this knot so far. It's the extra grade hair from Semogue, and I've put it through some test lathers, and I'm really enjoying the backbone of this guy, and all that needs to happen is the tips, more of them to split, and it's just going to keep getting better and better. A tiny little guy, surely it'd be good for travel, right? So I've had him soaking for several minutes, as always, with the aged Nacet blade that I've got. This is a 68 timeless open comb. It's got the blade already in it, and that blade is my Nacet with 212 uses, and this is the count over 210, so 212 is what we've got on there. 213 today. Royal is the soap from Stirling. It is still available right now, as of right now. I just checked because I was getting the scent description. It is a seasonal special. It came out on Black Friday from Stirling. $7.50 I think is the price they had. It's not the huge 5.8 ounce tubs, but it is the 3 ounce, and it's still plenty of soap to last you a long time. I discovered the 5.8 ounce probably last me a year and a couple of months. So you can do the ratio to go knock down from 5.8 to 3 and figure that out. Stirling says that in this you're going to find salty sea notes, some citrus, little hint of iris, and some woods. So let's see if that stuff jumps out. I do get the citrus. Salty sea, yeah, I can kind of see where they're getting that. And I think I do get a little bit of hint of the floral, and it's nice because it does round out the citrus, keep it from being quite so plain citrus. Maybe none of the woods yet, but let's work on it here. Haven't used it yet. Let's do a 30-second load. As usual, shake out the brush. Equivalent of about, since I've done so many practice shaves and things like that, practice lathers with this brush, it's kind of the equivalent of 10 uses is what I'm saying so far. So it's a perfect size for this smaller tub from Stirling. All right, 30-second load. We'll start at the 15 mark. Go to 45, just kind of moderate pressure. The neat thing about this brush is it's got some backbone to it, and a lot of the other Semogues don't. And so when these tips start to split and completely split, then you've got this neat combination of kind of medium to medium high backbone and soft tips. And that could be really something to experience. I'm looking forward to it. All right, so that is what a 30-second load looks like on this little brush. Just rinse off the threads of the tub here. Okay, splash my face with a little bit of water. Did I? Yep. Okay, now this, like I said, I've got big hands. Even the extra large gloves in the stores a lot of times don't quite fit me. And so this little guy is small. I also use an extra large bowl. But I'll tell you what, once, it's a cheap little Boar brush. And it looks so, it's this neat vintage look to it. And I did want an example of the extra grade bristles from Semogue, and I didn't want the short lucite handles I got the 1800, which has the extra, but the thing is it also has the premium mixed in, and so it softens up the extra. As we know with Stirling, we can add water anytime. We don't have to, add it gradually or anything like that. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 teaspoons in, the full syringe. Curious to see if this little guy was able to pick up enough soap. Probably. I can feel the backbone, the way this brush is standing up in the bowl, the way it's resisting splay, that sort of thing. The backbone here is definitely going to keep these tips focused at my face, and when those tips get super soft, then that's a really good thing. Got to kind of do a 4-finger grip with this because it's such a small handle. If the tips change how I think they're going to, I got a feeling I'm going to be probably yanking this knot out of this handle and putting it in something a little more sizable. Water here, I think the water quality is pretty soft. I don't think it's hard like back home. Nice long peaks when we stretch it, and yeah, that's not a lot of soap. I may be going back to the puck. Sometimes when it comes right from the maker, it needs a little longer loading than when you've used it before. Put another ½ teaspoon. Sometimes you'll get a Stirling explosion when you add a little bit of water and then all of a sudden the lather just takes off. Quantity multiplies abnormally. Merry Christmas. Technically it's Christmas right now here. Many happy returns of the holiday to you. I'm a Christian, so it's an important holiday for me. Yeah, and sure enough, we have multiplied the quantity of soap. Just make sure I get a good uniform mix. Christmas is a little weird this year because we're kind of did it in 2 locations and did our home Christmas before we traveled. And so it kind of feels like it's already happened. Now we're doing Christmas again with, extended family. Alright, well, Stirling is an awesome maker. Lather is tremendous. I'm looking forward to using it. Now let's see. Do we get any more notes? The woods is stepping up a little bit more now that it's in lather form. This is not a strong scent. I may have to move it on just because of that, even though I may like it. I think the salty is a little easier to perceive. Citrus has backed down a little bit. Maybe that is something that is more of a volatile scent that kind of disappears after an introductory period. Who knows, some soaps do that. All right. Let's see, if I pull it up here, we can look at the stretch. Ah, look at that. Look at that. That's some Stirling goodness right there. Nice. Nice. All right, water on my face. And let's lather up. Shove the brush down in there, letting it splay just a little to kind of push the lather into the middle of the knot. One thing I like about this smaller brush, I get nice movement, kind of a better, the brush movement experience is nicer with this brush and others of similar size. Big ones I am basically just moving up and then down. See, this is their extra grade bristles, which is one of their lower grades, but I mean, this is not scratchy by any means. So nice and scrubby, but it feels soft. My skin doesn't feel like it's going to experience any problems with if it gets tender, anything like that. Add some water. This does look a little thick. Who knows? Maybe it's this soft water giving me a creamier texture than I'm used to. Nice little brush. A little bit less than 24 hours of growth. And here's my Nacet. Here's a little X. Half of it at least. The other part got worn away. That I've shown you every shave that I've recorded, which I may have missed one or two, but in general, especially once I've gotten into the higher numbers, I've been recording them all. There's some people who don't believe me. Maybe this helps a little bit. All right, with the grain is what I like to do. Little bit of tugginess, but definitely not painful, you know. Not even really uncomfortable. It's just moving over. You can tell because, I mean, we're talking an old blade here. And so it's, you know, not able to just kind of pick up all the hairs in one shot. And I've learned just a few shaves ago to just kind of go over that first pass once. And then the future passes, we'll do some buffing and make sure we get everything covered. All right, did a rinse there, kind of a partial one, not fully. Left a little bit of moisture, a little bit of soap on my skin. And I added a ½ teaspoon of water to the lather since I added a good bit to the first pass while in the first pass. So now, see how this does. Wonderful slickness. And I've got plenty of lather to do the next pass, the third one. So let's just dip back in and make this pass just a little bit more opulent. Haven't used that word in a long time. All right. May get back to using distilled water for my lathers and see if that changes things, just for grins. All right, cross grain now. I don't mind doing an extra pass or two, especially when you've got a good brush and a nice creamy lather. It's like, would you like an extra 10 minutes in the spa? Yes, sir, I do. I would. In this twirly area right here, staying with the grain for the most part for the first couple of passes, and rinse. All right, the first pass, second pass are done. I have several Semogues. If you haven't guessed already, this is the one with the most backbone. Now, if you like those acrylic handles, I believe the 620 is the one that has the same bristles, the same grade of boar hair, and it has that acrylic handle. I'm a bowl latherer, and the acrylic handle gets super slippery. It's also kind of short. I definitely prefer a longer handle. This one's going to be easier probably to extract the knot out of. However, you know what? I might look and see if the 620 has a bigger diameter knot, you know, more bristles, then that might be a better one to break out if I do plan on moving an extra grade bore knot to another handle. Man, this lather was so slick during the rinses. It is just crazy. It's kind of what got me thinking about bringing the distilled water back to my normal home shaves. Just kind of moving quickly. I am being careful a little bit, but a little bit reckless and haphazard. Hasn't bitten me yet, this shave. It might not. It might. I am lifting my chin and, you know, certain ways to help keep the neck skin from being quite so loose. Man, that's a slick soap, folks. Put a little bit more right here. Oh, and then you know what? Why not? I mean, you can just go and grab a little bit of a lather from the bowl. Or if you're a face lather, just grab it from the tips of your brush. If you have a little spot that needs some work, and just throw a bunch of lather at it so that while you kind of attack that area, you're, you know, doing the best job you can of protecting that skin. I think I'm happy with that. Closer look later. shave. No irritation at all. Feeling good. Well, closeness, all that extra work I did in that area did not seem to pan out this time. Good news is I didn't stir up any irritation, but I also have several hairs in that area that just have some length on them, and a few areas that just have a little bit more shadow than I'm used to. So at least it was a comfortable shave. I don't even remember noticing the scent as I was shaving. It's just super light. I like it, but it's just so light that I really didn't smell it while I was shaving. And it's actually a little tough to perceive when I'm sticking my nose in the bowl. You know, maybe this is a good Stirling soap for people who like weak, easygoing scents. Right now it's on special for $7.50 instead of $10. So get it if you want it. Just a little notice, the Semogues that are like this are painted and then inside is wood. And so you only want to soak the bristle part only and not the handle, because what can happen is the wood inside will swell as it absorbs water, and then that can crack and break the enamel painted outside. So I ended up with an extra probably 2 or 3 passes of lather. So 30-second load was just fine. This guy picked up plenty of lather. I used 3½ teaspoons of water. So that's, I think that sounds about like what I usually do with Stirling. So I've come on this trip, and the reason I'm using this guy is the rest of my Borathon brushes, several Semogues, Zenith, Omega, and a Stirling, have all reached 20 uses, in some cases 21. And these guys are about half that. This one, I've also got a little Omega that I just brought on board, and I'm doing the same thing like this guy, practice lathers off screen. At the end of the shave, I'll just whip up a quick lather with Mitchell's wool fat or something like that, and then I'll just let it sit and kind of do wet dry cycles as well. And so I brought those 2 boars so I can focus on those during this trip. I'll do the 2 boars, and then I'll put, I brought a couple of badgers with me. I'll throw a badger in there, and then I'll do the 2 boars, then a badger, you know, that sort of thing. And maybe we can accelerate these guys, let them join the rest of the pack. I'm interested to see how this guy feels after 20 uses, 20 wet dry cycles. Be very cool to see. Now, I am still doing the puzzle challenge. I decided to use a different soap today because, number one, this is a special that is still being sold. If you like easy going, very light scents, I did pick up the kind of a salty sea, citrus, maybe some of the florals and a little bit of the woods once it was in wet form. And so those notes are there. At least to me, they do seem to be. Just in case I need to shake this up, go ahead and do that. I am going to bed, and so I am not going to be able to pick up some of the long-term notes on this aftershave, but I'll get the top notes and middle notes, I'm sure. I definitely don't think this soap is going to be resonant enough to affect my evaluation. So if you're new, the puzzle is a wet shaving exclusive. You had to sign up for it on a special form, and they're not releasing the scent notes, and that's the game. In January sometime, we'll submit our guesses as to what scent notes are in here. So that's why I'm not describing the scent of this or the soap on screen until after the game is done, until all the submissions are in. And I'm just trying to evaluate it, use it as often, but I thought it might do my nose good to alternate. Every once in a while, throw in a different soap. Don't use puzzle all the time. I don't want my nose to get desensitized to it. And so I will be using other soaps during that time. All right. Well, like I do with this guy, I'll open him up a little bit, shoot some hot water down in there, give him a shake. Now he can be stored away for use tomorrow. Take my Sharpie, put another dot on the Nacet envelope here. Well, the eval on the Royal doesn't really strike an accord with me. I like the stronger scents, and so this doesn't step up in that regard. It's a light scent, very, very light scent, and so some people, that's what they need. Sensitive skin issues, you know, different things like that. Performance was terrific. It just seemed to function and be more slick than any of the Stirlings that I've done lately at home, and so maybe it's the quality of the water. It really could be. I don't think the brush would make too much difference in that sense. Very happy with the brush, happy with the razor. Nice comfortable shave, still no irritation. That was an alcohol splash, and I didn't get any stinging or anything like that. So we've got good technique, and that is something that helps me to go so far with my blades, apparently. Close enough quality cut. Most jobs would not have a problem with that. All right, we're good. Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate that. Whatever holiday your faith works with, your faith enjoys, I hope that it returns good things to you, to your friends and family. I hope that you're able to spend as much time as you want with them during this season. And you guys take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.